Well, welcome back to Home Wizards, and thanks for hanging with us. We hope you're feeling good because we want to make you feel like, when you walk in that front door, you go, life's pretty darn good.
Yeah, and I like it here. I like this place I live in.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's Eric Stormer, and I'm Cindy Dole, and you're listening to Home Wizards. And by the way, as you're listening to things, you can always listen again on our website, Your Home Wizards.
See, that's the beauty of the web page. It gives you so much information, just quality content all the time.
See, you're going to hear that all of a sudden you can make some really cool magnets. It's a neat way to kind of welcome in spring, whether you're a guy or a gal, and you say, wait, how did they do that? You go to the website, and you'll hear
That's
again,
right. If you miss it, you can get it again on the website.
So what about some cool crafting ideas for spring? I love the idea of making stenciled magnets. And what you do is you get those ceramic tiles.
Yeah, the little hex ones, like the old school, any tile really that comes on a sheet, generally.
Hardware store, super cheap. But how much is that?
That's $1 something a square foot. You're going to get like 50 magnets out of it.
A fun family project.
That's right.
I might add, right? And so the way you do this is you will create this stencil effect by, after you buy the stencil tiles, right? You also can get some little adhesive dot stencils, let's say, in the crafty stores like the Michaels and so forth.
Right.
You get some little disc magnets and some heavy-duty adhesive, and you adhere the stencils to the tiles. Then you use some like little foam pouncers and then acrylic paint to embellish the tiles. You then oven cure the tiles according to the paint package instructions.
Oh, yeah, I've used that stuff before. It's great.
You like it?
Yeah, you just bake it, and it's perfect. And then, if you buy the tile that doesn't have the gloss finish on it, the paint will stay way better.
Oh.
Yeah, so that may be a consideration.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Generally, those porcelain pool tiles that come in the square foot sheets. No, those are actually good.
Those are good.
Yeah, you can get those, and they don't have the higher gloss to them, so that might keep the paint on them a little better.
Okay, and then all you do is you put the magnet at the back of each of the tile with some heavy-duty adhesive.
Yep.
You let it dry for overnight.
Stick them on the refrigerator. Bam, done.
You got it.
There it is.
Put them anywhere. It's kind of a fun idea.
Sure is.
I mean, these are all fun things that you can do, like just to kind of mix up your day. After you've done some chores, you've run errands, why not do a little thing like making your own DIY desk organizer?
Yeah.
And it's as simple as getting some copper spray paint. I love how metallics are really in, and you can find it now at some of these craft stores as well. They come in spray paint as well, right? So picture, if you would, let's say you have some old glass vases, or maybe even have some jars that are just sitting around the house. You can now paint them and get different heights and different shapes and sizes, and then get some of this metallic spray paint. And I love the idea of how now you're going to have this look. It almost looks like it's...
it looks like huge copper tubing, actually.
It looks
it's
like
beautiful.
Yeah. And you could have different heights, right? One for your pencils and pens, one for different paper clips, whatever.
It gives you that organizational feel on the top of the desk where it's like, man, this thing must have cost me $1 zillion.
See?
And then, I like the fact, too, where you can glue it on one of those pieces of thin, like quarter-inch wood base that they sell at the craft stores, too. It's almost like balsa wood, but it's a little bit thicker.
So it's all connected.
And then you can glue it all together and create a configuration so, these things don't go apart on the desk. And then you spray the whole thing either with copper, silver, gold, whatever color you like. And it looks great. It really does.
You can also create your own clock. Now, have you ever done this where you go to the craft stores, they sell these little battery-operated, clock wands, if you will, with a little plastic square component that you will put inside anything.
Yeah. You get the guts of the clock, the mechanism of the clock behind, and then the hands are in front, and then you drill a hole, and then sort of anything can become the clock face. Yeah.
Anything. Or you could just basically get a sphere of some kind, or a flat circle of some kind, or even it could be a square.
Sure.
But use wrapping paper, as simple as that. And now you have some very clever, spring-infused, kind of a nice whimsical look in your home.
Yeah.
And by the way, while you're at the craft store, you could load up on some of this Mod Podge that's a really great craft glue.
Right.
And then you can buy some thin wood.
Yeah, you
could
do plywood.
Yeah,
any shape. You don't have to do a circle. You could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's the cool part about it. It's like you're creating your own template to then, have that clock face be whatever shape it is. It could even be a family photo. You know what I mean?
You took the words out of my mouth.
And you could put the clock face through Uncle Charlie's big nose, right? And it'd be fun.
Or that says like his mustache,
Could be his mustache.
And then it goes round and round.
Yeah.
Now, if you've ever been to the big box stores and you see those cinder blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, the cinder blocks are really handy for a lot of different things. We love the idea of using them to put edible gardens in. You can use,
they look a little utilitarian
They
if
do.
you don't gussy them up a little and tell them about what you're talking about.
The idea here is again that you'll stencil the cinder block.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, oh, I'm not artistic. I can't do this. Well, you can. It's very, very easy because the idea is you can get one of these different stencil kits. Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, you can load it. How much are these little cinder blocks?
Oh, man, they're
like
nothing. Not even a buck.
75 cents,
75
maybe?
cents, right.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a nice little container garden vase, right?
Yeah.
You get the cinder blocks, you get the stencils that cover the surface of the cinder block for you. I mean, again, you can buy some of this at any of the arts and crafts stores. You get some, what kind of paint would you say? It's a multi-surface
Any color paint will do, yeah. I mean, especially any spray paint will stick to cinder block. And that's the beauty of it because, the texture then is the thing that becomes visually appealing rather than sort of this gray neutral, it almost looks like, a prison wall or something.
Right.
But you throw these stencils or even spray paint the entire thing, and now you've got visual appeal because it's got texture. And then the little opening on top of the cinder block becomes the place where you put the soil, and then your plant goes on top of that. It's really cute.
Very
Looks
cute.
great.
I mean, this will look great for your outdoor patio, I think.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it has that kind of that rugged, natural feel that kind of works, I think, with your outdoors.
And then you already have drainage, so you're just sitting it where it would normally go, right? And then you pack the dirt in there, and then the drainage goes right down onto the surface below it.
And
so
that's
it's
your
perfect.
Crafty concrete vase.
Yes,
Done.
it is.
How about even, we're on kind of a stencil whirl here, coming up with your own simple stamped napkins. Now, stick with me here. You might think, oh gosh, that seems a little extensive, right?
Yeah.
But let's say you had some really plain cocktail napkins, all right? They're basically made out of cotton of some kind, right? All you would do is you use a folded piece of cardboard to create what's going to be your look, your stamped look. And again, this is not really that hard. The idea is it gives a kind of a quick stamp of cardboard and it really...
So I see what you do. You're taking like a long, let's say it's a 6-inch strip of cardboard that's about 2 inches wide, and then you bend it maybe 5-6 times to create
like a stop sign.
A stop sign shape, right? And then you dunk that into the paint, and then you dunk that onto. It's almost like the paintbrush, but it's the outline of that thing that you've created.
So
That's cool.
Let's say you had a blue napkin. You would use white paint. You put some paint on a little paper plate, let's say, plastic plate of some kind, and then you dip it, and you go from left to right to left to right, and you keep repeating it, and now you see these white hexagons on your colored napkin.
That's actually really cool.
It's kind of fun. I mean, you could come up with different styles, but very simple, very kind of spring-like.
Then it becomes like a kitschy, repeatable pattern.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's great.
And speaking of customizing your kitchen and your dining ware, why not come up with your own plates that pop? The idea here is, let's say you had some plain white plates, right? Everyone has some kind of a plain white plate. You're going to now infuse it with a paisley stencil and bring in some really pretty colors of blues and greens, and that's going to make it feel like it's more spring, right? And so here's the trick to this, because the idea is you're going to want to use some great paint that's going to work, that's going to be safe for you to eat on the plates, right?
Right.
And there's certain plates you can find, certain paints you can find that are green, that are, safe and healthy and that kind of thing. But the idea is to get this eclectic dining room plate. You can also then turn them on the wall, just kind of hang them up, and it becomes wall art. But the idea is you go to the arts and crafts stores. They sell some of these different kinds of stencils that you have this kind of layout, and then you would use some different paints. Like you can find even yogurt paint that you could use. And the idea is that you would then come up with your different color palette and then adhere it to the plates. And then I love the idea of then first sticking, let's say, like a felt circle to the back of the plate with some super glue. And the idea is then you place some large paper clips so that the loop is above the back of the plate. And this is so you could hang it. And then you would glue the entire surface and then just add some of this paint with your stencils. And I just love the idea.
That's cute, especially for an outdoor area, too. That might look kind of great.
Yeah. So the idea is that now you're going to have that kind of a DIY, kitschy, paisley pop of blue
and you know
green.
what? How much do you think that's going to cost you if you go to a garage sale and you find some of these old plastic plates and then you stencil them up? It's going to be like 15 cents at the end. This is a great, inexpensive way to create decorative wall art.
And it's fun, very much so.
Right?
Speaking of wall art, Who doesn't have enough? Who is lacking space to hang up things that are just like maybe belts or ties or even jewelry? If you have some leftover little hexagon mirrors, you can even buy them at the dollar store, right? They're a huge trend in home decor, these octagons. And what you do is now you're going to arrange them on the wall, but then you could use some kind of a knob of some kind and glue that to the mirror.
Love it.
You know?
And then it almost looks like a jewelry store display.
Yeah, using acrylic knobs especially.
Man,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
Very cute.
That is good.
We'll put this on the website because there's so many great things you can do to welcome in spring, and we'll have more ideas for you coming up next. Eric Stormer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards.
New life for me, and I'm feeling